Hi guys, welcome to today's video, and today I am going to be showing you a tutorial how to draw this eye. I have also tried doing the colourful one, and I'll do a tutorial on that in a different video because this is difficult enough. Let's get straight into this. First of all, what you will want to do is find a reference. So I got a phone over here and I got my reference on it. I'm going to put the reference on the screen just so you see it, and now you will want to have a proper look at it and put down two lines like this which mark the beginning and the end of the eye. There's like loads of detail on it, which actually isn't that difficult. You just have to look at the shades. Do this little tear thing, I don't know what it's called. Hi, this is editing me. I did some research and it's called a caruncle. For the rest of the video I do not know what it's called, so I will be calling it the tear thingy, just so you know what it is. Here's the picture of it on the screen, and enjoy the rest of the tutorial. Put a line on what the eye shape is like. It usually goes up, kind of straightish, and then down again. Not that rounded. And then you'll want to do the same on the bottom. On most of the eyes, there's like this little thingy, which kind of separates the eyeball from the tear area. This is basically the eye shape. Before I do any detail on the eye, I like to draw out the whole thing, so I have some idea of what will go where. So a little bit above the eye, you will want to make like this line that kind of goes like, it's the same shape as this is, as the top of the eye, so like this. And you'll want to make that really dark, like very, very dark. Just push on your pen as much as it's possible. And that's the eyelid. Next, just put a basic light coat of colour everywhere, well, of the pencil, because you want the skin to be there, to be visible at least a little bit. Slowly start adding a shade underneath this because it needs to be shaded, and you have to kind of like put the shade here everywhere on this side. Well, look at your reference. Depends about the reference. In my one, the shadow is on this side of the eyelid mainly, and then here is just by this, the skin fold. Go on, fix this up so it's the same shape as it is on the photo, not as I did it. And then on my reference there's like this very dark area over here, so I'm gonna add that one in as well. So I first do all the details on the skin because I find the skin makes it look like an eye, mostly. The eyeball does end somewhere here because it's an eyeball, so it's a ball. So it's supposed to be slightly darker over here than anywhere else because that's where the eye ends. And then it's darker here because there's skin coming from the nose down, which is slightly shaded from the top of the nose. You want to add a few lines because that's where most wrinkles come from. And then you'll want to make it darker here because the eyelashes and the eye is just covering it. I like to leave it quite light over here because there's no really shadow there. There's nothing that can cast the shadow, so I leave it like that. And now that this is sort of finished, I like to add second layer because that's the edge of the skin. Put like a little bally thingy, color it in lightly, and then make sure to leave a little spot because it is wet there, so it's nice and shiny, I guess. And just have a proper look at the reference and figure out if you have the eye shape right. I feel like my one is slightly too open. I think this is it. just so you know, sometimes I get it confused. This is not the eyebrow, okay? It's the eye fold. Next step that I like to do is shade the eyeball. You have to leave a little space white, or you can add that in with a acrylic, or with a marker later on if you forget about it, which I did here, so I needed to add it with the Posca. It's always the darkest right here next to the edge, and then it's quite dark over here as well. But don't make it really, really dark because it is white. Unless you are really sick and then it's yellow and it's not white. I like to add a little bit of lines because that does add a little bit of the skin texture if you really want it there. Which I like to have a little bit, but it's not like all of it. Now that that's done, you'll want to make a circle, which is always different on each photo, but on this one particularly, it's actually quite big, so it's about like that. Big, and then you'll want to add the pupil. I recommend not pushing that much, but just doing it many, many times. Then you go around slightly darker, it's not completely dark, but a darker shade around the iris of the eye, like this. So it makes it darker because it's very dark on the edges if you do it in black and white. And then you add like these little, I don't know, it looks like a petal, sort of. I recommend not doing it like that, as I just did before, but like kind of smudgy-ish, because it's not completely there really. If you are doing this in colour, then do not do it with this method. This is for black and white eyes, just like with a pencil, if you don't want to make a whole eye. Then you make this like little sunshine. It's like a little sun rising or whatever. And then you will want to go over all of it with a lighter grey, and then just in circling motion start adding darker ones. And since it's all nice and dark now, you'll want to start adding like lines. They have to be slightly rounded because it is round, so that would make sense, right? So that's for the center of the eye. I might have done it a little bit too dark compared to the reference, but I found out that don't show the reference and everyone thinks it's great, so best thing you can possibly do. And now for the last step to make it, well, second to last, to make it look more like an eye, just add the eyelashes, which usually go like in groups, but follow the reference because that's how they are realistically, because it is a real photo usually. Some of them go like into the eye, which I find slightly disturbing because I don't want my eyelashes to be inside of my eyes. Here in the middle, make them shorter because you don't see all of them since they are right in front of you, but put some of them like facing down as I did here because that's how it is. Those are the ones that are inside of your eye. And then here they usually go down and not up, which is a very important detail. But I like to add like one or two that go up. And that is it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. No wait, it's not. I need to add the highlights. I always forget the highlights. Okay, I have my lovely little trustworthy Posca pen and a few dots, and I like to add a little bit on this as well. Maybe a little bit here, clean this up. And that's basically it for drawing an eye. I recommend making this slightly lighter. I made it a little bit too dark, but I like it. It looks realistic, and this is a tutorial for when you are like doing it really detailed, or if it's just a drawing of an eye, as I sometimes do. But if you do it on a face, which is here, when I did my self-portrait, sorry, go ahead and watch that video. It was a very interesting way to spend my day. You just do the shape of the eye. I made my eyes too big here, so I made it kind of like a different style than realism. So you will just trace the shape of the eye, and then I found out that making the pupil just makes it all weird. So I just usually make the eyes all very, very dark when they're in the shadows, which they usually are. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you in the tutorial for the coloured eye. It is slightly more difficult because you need to find the right colours, and yeah. So for now, I guess bye.